I think if my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best in the world.
You're boxing a guy who's 24 years old, who's got all his faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom, and then mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma. Let's be honest about it.
And Moses Itauma's legs are fast. He's a spiteful puncher. I think he absolutely...
He's got the experience to upset the apple cart, Dillian. He has. But what's his name? Who's he fighting?
Moses Itauma.
Moses, I beg your pardon. Moses is a serious, responsive operator, and man can pick his punches well. So, yeah, obviously Moses is the favourite for me.
Until that new star establishes himself. So we'll just wait and see, but it's exciting.
Yeah. What do you make of Itauma versus Dillian Whyte?
It's a good fight. Dillian Whyte likes to fight. He'll have to tear up. Yeah. You know, you can't test this man's cojones. You know, he'll fight anybody and everybody. So with Dillian doing that, you think, you know what? You know, it's a good fight, good testing fight, and like, you know, he might be a gatekeeper.
Step by step, fight by fight. If you're going to ask me, like, what's my plan in this division, is to knock Dillian Whyte out.
That's a good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring, but you know, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher to head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him, and looking forward to the fight. You know, it's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left.
Ones, but I'm talking about with somebody who doesn't fiddle around, somebody who actually would like to get in the latter rounds and is capable of knocking people over. You know, he's a puncher. You've seen him do it, and he's done it with world-class fighters.
We need to almost see the old-school Dillian Whyte, who, you know, wasn't afraid of anyone, would put it on anyone, because Moses is still only 20. And I almost feel like if Dillian needs a path to victory, it might start from outside the ring first, and then we'll see. Because there would have been a time when Moses has grown up and he's watching Dillian Whyte.
I think it's a great fight, you know, but it'll be fascinating to see how Moses goes against Dillian. I don't think they put him in against Dillian Whyte if they think there's real jeopardy for them. I think they might get a few rounds and get asked a few more questions than possibly they've been asked by Marius Wack and Dempsey McKean, but I don't think much. They think much.
A lot of the time, a lot of the general public, you know, the expectation's almost like it's a 2 or 3 round job for Moses. And my opinion is if there was any other heavyweight in the world boxing Dillian Whyte, they wouldn't say it's a 2-3 round job. So I think that just tells you how highly people think of.
But he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent. I think he's got a good team around him, Ben Davison and Lee Wiley. Wiley is the brains that study everything. And they use what we call video analysis now in boxing. They're the one team
he'll come and give it
use
everything because he knows it's last chance saloon for him. He needs the victory here. So, look, we find out just how good Moses Itauma is, I think, on the 16th of August when he boxes Dillian Whyte, because I think he wins it and wins it in style. But everyone they put in front of him so far, he's just dismantled. I think this kid's going to go on and win a world title.
Problem
and it could be
with
as soon
Moses is that his feet and his distance and his range is so good and he's so quick that if you commit to the punches, you're going to get countered. And if you don't, you're going to get backed up and taken out. So it's a real puzzle. There's not many heavyweights that are southpaws. Obviously, Alexander Usyk is, but he's moved up into that domain.
I did message him. I was like, listen, I don't know why you're taking that fight. For what reason? And he goes, oh, he don't care. You know, my friend. You know, so I was like, listen, just be careful. And I messaged Moses. I'm like, Moses, just fight him, but don't put him to sleep that badly.
There's a lot more punches than that, and I have a lot more punches than that. So, you know, I'm not just focusing on one punch. I'm focusing more on strategy and getting to the strategic position to learn what we're learning. It's southpaw, so you know, you can't just walk up to him and learn left hook and then the same like you do on other people. So you have to set it up and timing and stuff. So yeah, it's been working more.
Moses is ranked #1 now by the WBO. So if he were to fight Moses, then that puts him in the #1 spot.
It's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. and that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
I think he's very, very good, Moses Itauma. So some people might say he'll get rid of Dillian Whyte like he has the others. Maybe not. Maybe Dillian's too much for him at this stage, which is why it's...
I like the fight. The reason being is because Moses Itauma, we've been saying now, is that guy. He needs that test. He needs that step up. And I think Dillian Whyte is that guy. Dillian Whyte's probably found it hard now to get that big fight. He's probably said, I'll fight Moses Itauma if you give me X amount of money. And that's probably why this fight's getting made. But
he's got speed, he's got power, he's tough, he's game. Ticks all the boxes so far. So let's see. Again, he's young. You know, he's not really been tested because what he's doing to these opponents. So let's see. It's early days, but big future for him.
That Mike Tyson, at least for a round or two,
first time he
Mike
gets
Tyson.
cracked, it's gonna. I guarantee you, his head's gonna be like, oh shit.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
How many rounds is it?
I think it's 8.
Yeah.
So that fight's dead in the water, you think, Dillian Whyte?
We'll never fight Dillian. I wouldn't give Dillian Whyte a wage to fight him after his ridiculous comments that he's made. But see if they ever...
I think Itauma has the goods. I really do. And I do think Dillian Whyte will get sacrificed like a lamb, but I don't think he's a sacrificial lamb. I think he's an old head who still feels that, you know what, I'm gonna bring in the old school and get rid of the new school and let everybody know that this guy Itauma has no business in the ring with me. Now, if you ask me what happens in that fight, I think Dillian Whyte gets tranquilized. But stop with all this crap about Moses Itauma as a hype job. Dillian Whyte's over the hill. I tell you what, if you said I had to pick one, is Moses Itauma
well wanting to go there because Moses Itauma is fascinating. I spoke to Francis Warren ringside on Saturday night. You had a microphone as well. Were you allowed to put the pressure on them to speak? Because I just did anyway. And
Dillian Whyte's manager is still preaching the same hopeful mantra. If Dillian gets it right, but let's be honest, how many more chances does he get? That if has become a full stop. YT has been in the game long enough, and we've seen what his best looks like. Sporadic performances, heavy feet, and a chin that's been cracked too many times to ignore. The durability isn't there anymore, and the once menacing aura has dimmed. But what if this fight isn't as exposed?
I believe if Dillian gets it right, he can beat any heavyweight in the world. You know, he's another fighting man that believes in himself, and he's mentally very strong. Mentally very, very strong man. He just has to get it right on the night. And this is the heavyweight business. You know, the fact that he'll be the underdog, that will motivate him and push him to do what he knows that he can, and that's get the victory.
One-sided as many believe. Peter Fury offers a brutally honest assessment in a recent clip, reminding us this fight is far from a foregone conclusion. It could go either way, and that's what makes it compelling. Either Moses Itauma blasts YT out early with that fierce southpaw aggression, or he gets dragged into unfamiliar waters by a veteran who stood across from killers. That's exactly the kind of test Moses needs. Blowing opponents away in 90 seconds builds hype, but going through hell and still emerging dominant, that builds greatness. This fight could be the proving ground for Moses Itauma's rise to stardom, a coming-of-age war as Fury hints. And as for YT, he may have once been kryptonite history, but that only works if the punch lands, and more importantly, if the legs still hold up. At this stage in his career, YT's experience is undeniable, but experience without sharpness is just nostalgia. Moses, on the other hand, has youth, hunger, timing, and most crucially, momentum. Whether this is a quick demolition job or a deep-water slugfest, one thing's certain, we're about to see what Moses is really made of.
It could be a quick night for Moses Itauma, or it could be a banana skin where he's in for a war and he could get dragged into deep water. Either way, it's good for Itauma because we're going to see what he's all about, you know. Or is he going to have another quick night? We have to see. Or Dillian Whyte could think to himself, yeah, he could be kryptonite for Itauma because...
And Peter Fury doesn't stop there. He dives deeper into why this matchup may be the ultimate test of fire versus finesse. Fury makes it plain, Whyte may still have the size, strength, and ring experience, but none of that matters if he can't cope with the speed and aggression Moses brings. Whyte has become increasingly one-dimensional. Yes, he's still strong, but strength without timing is just dead weight against someone as sharp and slick as Moses. Itauma isn't just explosive, he's methodical. He doesn't recklessly charge forward. He dissects, his angles are sharp, his timing vicious, and his composure speaks to someone far beyond his 19 years. In contrast, Whyte's game seems stuck in rewind, struggling to evolve while Moses refines his with every round. Let's be real. The biggest threat to Whyte in this fight might not be Moses, it might be the speed of the modern heavyweight game leaving him behind. Experience only matters when you can adjust. Moses is adjusting constantly. Whyte, not so much. The real question isn't if Whyte can win, it's how long he can hang once Moses...
You know, look, it's a good fight to make. Dillian Whyte's got the experience. He's also, he can punch, he's strong, he's a big unit. But can he negate the speed, the power and the ferocity of this young heavyweight coming? And he gives angles, he's a good boxer as well. So that's the thing. You've got experience against somebody who's up and coming that hasn't been tested yet because he's so sharp, so deadly with his...
Moses starts letting those hands go. Then Liam Smith jumps in with a cold, no-nonsense take. Smith, a man who's been in the trenches himself, says what a lot of people are already thinking. Whyte's prime is in the rearview mirror. And Moses, he's racing down the motorway with the throttle wide open. Smith acknowledges the respect due to Whyte, but reminds us sentiment doesn't win fights. Smith calls Moses a class act and a special talent, and he's not wrong. Moses isn't just a heavy-handed upstart. He's calculated, patient, and frighteningly mature in the ring. That's what separates flash-in-the-pan hype jobs from true championship material. Whyte, for all his experience, looks like a man running out of time and options. His chin's been cracked, his timing's deteriorating, and his work rate has taken a dip. That's a disastrous mix against a young lion like Moses, who's not just coming to win, he's coming to dominate. This doesn't...
I like Dillian, but I think Moses wins and wins well. I think he's a class act there. I think Dillian's best days are probably behind him. And I think he's a special talent, Moses, so I think Moses wins.
Feel like a passing of the torch. It feels like Moses is grabbing it with both hands. Liam Smith's words land like a warning shot. This isn't personal, it's boxing reality. Even Eddie Hearn, who's seen more prospects rise and fall than anyone, has thrown serious praise Moses's way. And when someone like Hearn calls a fighter exceptional, you listen. This isn't empty promotion. Hearn knows what elite talent looks like, and he knows when he's witnessing something rare. Moses isn't built on Instagram clips or smoke and mirror. He's the product of high-level amateur pedigree, real schooling, and international experience. He's not reacting in the ring, he's calculating, staying 3 steps ahead. That's a terrifying trait in someone so young. Compare that with Dillian Whyte's career, defined by grit, brawls, and hard-earned lessons. Moses enters this fight already seasoned in fundamentals, with the polish of a veteran, but the drive of a teenager. This isn't some haymaker-hunting brute. This is a machine, fine-tuned for destruction with method, not just...
Moses is an exceptional talent. He's been in the game a long time. He's got a very long-standing amateur record and pedigree.
Madness. And then comes Dave Allen, a man who's felt heavyweight power firsthand and knows what it's like to trade with monsters. Allen's verdict? Moses is the clear favorite, not because of hype, but because of hard facts. Whyte's inactivity, combined with his well-documented durability issues, paints a bleak picture. In heavyweight boxing, time is merciless, and inactivity is a silent killer. You can't replicate ring sharpness, and when someone like Moses is barreling toward you with speed, skill, and intent, even the slightest delay is fatal. Allen still respects Whyte's experience and power, but even that feels more like a courtesy than confidence. Whyte is no longer the unpredictable threat he once was. The blueprint to beat him is public record now. And Moses? He remains a mystery. a puzzle with speed, discipline, and danger written all over it. Allen's lean toward Moses isn't emotional, it's logical, and when even seasoned pros are backing the young gun, it speaks volumes. This fight isn't just a matchup, it's a reckoning. On one side, you have Moses
Dillian Whyte has a boxing forever. Dillian Whyte's not been active for Itauma, so I'm making Itauma my favourite based on that, but Dillian Whyte is experienced, he can punch. No result would surprise me, but I would go with Itauma.
Itauma, a teenage phenom with a flawless amateur background, elite footwork, and an icy composure rare at any age. He's not the next big thing, he is the big thing. He represents the future of heavyweight boxing, raw, ruthless, and razor sharp. On the other side, Dillian Whyte, a warrior with miles on the clock, scars earned through blood, and a heart that's never been in question. But in this game, heart only takes you so far. This isn't just a comeback for Whyte, it's a last stand. If he wins, he rewrites the narrative and throws himself back into title contention. But if he loses, it might mark the end of a gritty, tumultuous career. For Moses, a win here cements his place at the table. He's not looking to impress anymore. He's looking to take over. This is about legacy. For Whyte, it's about survival. For Moses, it's about ascension. So now, it's over to you. Are you backing Moses Itauma to usher in a new heavyweight era? Or do you believe Dillian Whyte has one last war left in the tank? Let us know in the comments. Who's your pick, and how does it end? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the debate. We're only just getting started.